All right, what's up, everybody? It's Mike, your host with the most. Welcome back for lecture 3 on chapter 3. Today we're going to be talking about the banks, financial institutions. The banks are financial institutions, guys. I know a lot of you, when you think bank, you're like, all right, yeah, it's the place I put my money. They keep my money safe and stuff. Yeah, sort of. But today we're going to be getting into, what they're really there for and how you guys can be a little misled on why banks really even exist. So let's hop right on into it. Banks are there to invest your money and make money. Okay, that's what they are. Banks are businesses. All right, they're financial businesses, and they take your hard-earned money that you deposit and you give to them, and then they invest that in the global economy, and they make money off of it, and they pay you a very small percentage for using your money to invest. So if the banks use your money to invest, don't you think that you should invest your own hard-earned money? Well, don't think too hard, because the answer is absolutely yes, guys. You should be investing your money. Remember, you have two options. You can spend it or invest it. Long-term saving is not an option, but saving to invest is okay. But back to the banks, guys. So yeah, they take your money, you deposit it, they're going to take it and they're going to put it in the global economy and invest it. So on your average checkings account, that's checkings accounts, that's where you put your money in that you're going to actively be using. Okay, savings account, that's your money that you're tucking away. On an average checking account, you're getting 0% interest. All right, so for letting a bank hold on to your money, you're making zero money. Okay, they're paying you literally no interest. So a savings account is a little bit different. It's a little bit better, but it's not much better, guys. All right. So 0% from checkings. Savings, you're going to get not 1%. Nope, not 1. You're going to get 0.01%. So 100% to 0.1%. 0.10%. Okay, so literally not even 1%. 100th or 0.1% is what you're going to get from putting your money in the banks. Do you think anybody is creating wealth off that? Again, don't think too hard, because it's a pretty easy no. Pretty solid no. Zip nada. You're not creating wealth like that, okay? Holding your money in the banks, it's not going to create wealth, all right? They take your money and they invest it. To banks, cash is actually a liability. Having a bunch of money to banks is a liability. What they do is, having too much money, say the bank gets robbed, burned down, yada, yada, that money's gone. They're liable to pay people back for that, okay? Your bank balance is just an IOU, okay? So your bank balance just indicates what the bank owes you at a future date and time. It's not, how much money you can immediately withdraw, because if you have $100,000 in the bank, good luck going in and asking for $100,000 in cash. You're not going to be able to get it that day. They're going to tell you to come back in a couple days, maybe a couple weeks. All right, banks don't keep a lot of money on hand because cash is a liability. They want to get your money, they want to invest it, they want to put it to work and have it making money right away. So again, that's how you need to start looking at cash, as a liability, okay? Something that's costing you money, okay? If you have a bunch of cash sitting, it's actually costing you money in something called opportunity cost, okay? Opportunity cost is your cost of making one decision instead of the other. So it costs a lot of money by making the decision to save your money and just sit in a bank forever and try to save your way to retirement. It's going to cost you a lot of opportunity cost, because you're missing out on so much wealth and growth from investments that you could be taking. So like I was saying, cash is actually a liability to banks. They want to be investing your money. They want to be making money. They don't want to let it sit. All right, so since we're talking about banks, I just want to educate you guys just a little bit and briefly on the banking system. So here in the US, we have a banking system that is called fractional reserve, okay? Fractional reserve banking. So big thing is fractional reserve, meaning banks only have to keep a fraction of money that you deposit basically, held back, not invested, reserved, okay? They only have to reserve. That rate is usually 10%, okay? So if you deposit $100 in a bank, they can take 90 of it and immediately lend it out or invest it, and they only have to keep $10 on hand if you give them 100. Take $90, invest it, they have to keep 10. Okay, that's a 10%. That $10 will go to the Federal Reserve, and they are going to reserve that money in case you go to get it and you want it. So the Federal Reserve is the central bank of the United States, okay? It's the main bank. The Federal Reserve is in charge of, controlling inflation like we talked about in the last lecture. And that's what I want to kind of bring into here is why I'm, bringing up fractional banking and the Federal Reserve is how the banking system and how lending actually creates money. So debt is, in a way, it's money. So we'll talk about this. So we just talked about, we mentioned fractional reserves. So I'm going to show you what that actually looks like and how this can make a lot of money, how lending creates money. And that's why I brought up the Federal Reserve, because they're in control of inflation and something called monetary policy, which is tightening and loosening the restrictions, or, not the restrictions, but tightening and loosening the amount of money in the economy to control the rate at which the economy is growing. Okay, that's what the Federal Reserve is responsible for. And I'm going to show you why they do certain things like raise interest rates, because they want to stop lending, because when banks lend money, like I said, it creates money. And I'm going to show you that now. So when you see interest rates are getting hiked, it's to stop what is going on here. So this is from fractional reserve banking, FRB. So if I put $100, here's me, whatever, and I got a $100 bill in my hand there. I'm not the artist, but so I got a $100 bill and I give it to the bank. Well, the bank can go lend out $90 immediately, and they got to reserve $10. Well, they can lend that $90 out to, let's say his name is Jake. They can lend Jake now is $90, okay? So they lent that out to Jake. Well, Jake's gonna go and, here's Jake again. Jake's gonna go put $90 into his bank account because he's gonna get ready to do whatever he's doing with that $90. Well, now that bank has the $90, but what they're gonna do is they're gonna lend out 81 of it, and then they're going to reserve $9 of it, okay? Well, now they can lend out that $81 to Stephanie over here, and now Stephanie is over here now, and Stephanie can deposit that $81, and the bank can now take out of that $81, they got to reserve 10%, so they're going to keep $810, and they're going to lend out whatever that is, like $72, okay? They're going to be able to immediately lend out $72, and they have to reserve, that $8.10. So if we take the $8.10 reserved here, the $9 reserved here, and the $10 reserved here, we can see that off of one $100 bill, the banks were able to create multiple hundreds of dollars. Basically, when the Federal Reserve hops in and they're raising interest rates, it's to slow the amount of lending, to slow the amount of money that comes into the economy. Okay, so that's the job of the Federal Reserve, the central bank. But point being, banks make money off of investing your money or lending out your money to other investors. So don't you think that you should be doing what the banks do and invest your money? Absolutely should be investing your money. All right, so a little bit more about banks. There might be people out there saying, keep your money out of a bank. It's not safe in the bank. That's not true. Your money is safe in the bank, unless you have over $250,000. So let's talk about that. So there's something called the FDIC. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So the FDIC, they insure your deposits. So up to $250,000 in a bank account is completely safe, okay? That's completely safe, all right? Any money over that is not insured. $250,000 or less is insured by the FDIC, meaning if the banks overinvest or they're too risky and they lose all of your money and the banks default, they fall, okay? Falls apart. So if there's like a banking crisis, The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation will literally just send your $250,000. They'll cover it. All right. So the FDIC will actually just cover this up to $250,000. So if that bank falls through and they default and they can't pay you back on that IOU, they can't pay your account balance, up to $250,000 is automatically safe. The Fed will cover it. Now, over $250,000, you're in trouble. Okay, if you have $400,000 in the bank, only $250,000 is insured. So if the bank defaults, you're out $150,000. So any money that you have in a bank account over $250,000 is not safe. Okay, so easy way to combat that, you could do two options. You could open another account with the same bank, like maybe a business account or something, and you could put $250,000 in there. So if you have over $250,000, you have a couple options. You could put $250,000 in another account, in one account, and then you could put the rest in an account. Whatever you want. You just don't want to ever have more than $250,000 in a bank account at a time, because then your money's not insured and it's not being protected like you would think it is in a bank. Okay, so just easy ways to get around it. You can have multiple bank accounts, but the FDIC will insure up to $250,000 per person per account. The reason I brought this to your attention is to let you know that the whole system's kind of all jacked up. Everything is, on the backs of the taxpayers at the end of the day, because these banks, they get to go invest and they try to make all this money, and there's basically no risk, because if they default, the FDIC is going to cover them and pay the banks back and, fund your money that was lost with taxpayers' money. Fund it with your money. So the whole system's honestly corrupt, okay? It's very true. Stock market's rigged, you name it. It's all true, okay? But when we know how things work, we can play the game. So just understand how things work. So to wrap things up, when you give your money to the bank, you're lending them your money, okay? They're gonna take your money, they're gonna invest it, they're gonna pay you a small percentage, and they're gonna keep the large difference in that. All right, so it's okay that we save money to invest in the future, but we cannot save long-term to create wealth, okay? We cannot do that. We should be doing what these large financial institutions are doing that are worth millions, if not billions and trillions of dollars, are doing with their money. So the bank is the middleman, okay? They're stopping you from reaping all the benefits of investing the money that you worked hard for, okay? And they're going and doing it themselves. You need to invest your money and reap the benefits of the money that you worked hard for. Remember, guys, money is an asset. Don't let these banks benefit from your assets. Use assets to create more money. Use money to create more money. Use your money to invest and cut the middleman out. I'll see you next time.